Hey guys, so I just finished installing front and rear shocks on a 2011 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited Rubicon. So this is a JK. I saw a couple of videos out there where people were saying it was a pain in the ass to do the front shocks. So I was able to do them with ease, and I figure I would share with you guys the way that I did them. So the tools that I would recommend that you have before you even begin this job is get yourself a 14mm ratcheting wrench. You will need a 18mm box-end wrench, and then you will need another 18mm socket for this nut here. If you have an impact gun, all the better, and a 10mm for this. So, and also two other tools that I used. I used a pair of pliers and a crowbar, and I will explain this in a second. So the first thing I started by doing was, you have a little a brake hose retainer right here. So I loosened this up so I would have some more room to wiggle the shock out. From there, I took my ratcheting wrench, which you can see, if I want it, fits right up here. Get it right on the nut, and then I started loosening from there. The best way to do this, if you have your ratcheting wrench, loosen from here and hold the shock with your hand. It should loosen up fairly easy. Or if you want, hold the nut right here, hold the nut and just take the shock, pull the bottom shock bolt out and just turn the shock. Oh yeah, you can turn it. So there's two ways you can go about doing this. So once I took my crowbar and I just pried against here just to pop the shock out, and I slipped it out between the hose and the collar here. One thing that I ran into was, I noticed on the new shock, the grommets were a little thick, so I had some trouble. Being able to seat the shock back in here. So I would recommend, to make sure that this doesn't apply to you, is when you go to put your new shock on, I try to seat it from like the ground up and seat it in here to see if it was too narrow. If it's too narrow, take your pry bar and just pry and pry it out just a little bit to widen the hole up. Once you take your impact gun and you go and tighten the bolt up, it will squeeze it back again. Once I did that, the way I installed the shock is I started by putting my grommet on here, put the shock through the hole, pushed up on it, and then I released the tension and let it seat itself back into the collar right here. So now all I have to do is tighten these up, and if you get tired of holding it with your hands, take a towel or something and wrap around the strut so you don't mar the surface. Put some pliers on it and hold it. And then after that, yeah, you're done. So hopefully this helps some of you guys out there. Then for the rears are fairly easy as well. So again, I used my crowbar and it did work wonders. You'll notice that this is the bottom end of my shock right here. All right. So from right here, this is another 18mm bolt and a 18mm nut. And then up here, you have two 16mm bolts. I ran these out with the impact gun and they came out just fine. I was pretty easy on the trigger. So when you tighten these back up, get your torque wrench and tighten to 40 foot-pounds, and that should do the trick for you. So I hope this helps, and good luck.